Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Rapid Chemistry. I am Ranjan Das. Today like to discuss the chapter Structure of Atom. The structure of atom, and today is the fourth day, and the last 3 days we have had some understanding of structure of atom. And the last day we have discussed Bohr's theory. Bohr's theory. In spite of having so many positive aspects of Bohr's atomic model, and there are some limitations, okay, and the limitations are: the first one, spectra of atoms or ions having 2 or more electrons, that is the multi-electron system, cannot be explained with the help of Bohr theory. Okay. Number 2, when a spectroscope with high resolving powers were used, it was found that each line in the spectrum was split into a number of closely spaced lines called fine structure, which could not be explained by Bohr's theory. Okay. Bohr's theory even can't explain Zeeman effect and Stark effect. I have discussed last day a bit. Okay. And again, and you know that model is two-dimensional, and whereas the atom is a three-dimensional. Okay. In Bohr model, the dual character of an electron has not been considered. Okay. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, and that cannot be explained on the basis of Bohr's atomic model, and that's why the new model is required. In order to explain the fine structure of spectral lines in the hydrogen spectrum, Sommerfeld in the year of 1915 extended Bohr's theory and proposed Sommerfeld's modification, that is of Bohr's theory. And he first time gave the idea of elliptical orbits. Okay, elliptical orbits. And here is the motion of an electron in elliptical orbit has been shown. Okay. An electron moves around a positively charged nucleus, okay, positively charged nucleus in different elliptical orbits in addition to circular orbits. Circular orbits can also be there. When the electron moves in an elliptical orbit, the nucleus remains at one of the foci. Okay, one of the foci. When the electron moves in a circular path, the angle of revolution changes while the distance from the nucleus remains the same. However, in elliptical motion, both the angle of revolution phi or radial angle as written here, and the distance, and that is the radial distance of the electron from the nucleus, changes. In order to describe an elliptical path, Sommerfeld introduced the concept of second quantum number. And you know, first quantum number, that is the n, and that was given by Niels Bohr. Okay. And the second quantum number called azimuthal quantum number. Okay. Denoted by the letter small k, in addition to the principal quantum number. Okay. These two quantum numbers are related to each other. And how? By this simple equation, n by k. N, you know, principal quantum number, and k is the azimuthal quantum number. And for a specific value of n, there can be more than one value of k. And how? I can show you here. Just wait. So an n by k value as given by Sommerfeld equals to length of major axis and length of minor axis. And this is the Sommerfeld's model, and this is the Sommerfeld model in all the cases. Okay, n equals to taken 4 means, you know, principal quantum number remaining 4. So if principal quantum number 4, the azimuthal quantum number value can have 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's why the 4 different type of orbits can be obtained for the same principal quantum number n. For each value of n, k may have n different values. These are 1, 2, 3 up to n. Thus for the Bohr orbit with n equals to 4, as we have seen here, okay, as n equals to 4, these are 4 Sommerfeld orbit. There are 4 Sommerfeld orbits, 3 elliptical orbit, okay, plus 1 circular orbit with k equals to 1, 2, 3, 4. When k equals to 4, the elliptical orbit reduces to a circular orbit. And here you have to remember, the circle is a special form of ellipse. The circle is a special form of ellipse. Okay. Sommerfeld thus introduced the concept of subcells in the principal quantum cell. The difference in energy between any two subcells is quite small. The fine structure of hydrogen spectrum can be explained by assuming several transitions between several subcells, each characterized by different values of K but same value of N. To explain splitting of spectral lines under the influence of electric or magnetic field, that is Zeeman effect and Stark effect, Sommerfeld suggested that the electronic orbit may lie in different planes. Different planes as it is shown here. Look at the figure. Okay. One very important here. The fine structure of spectral lines observed in the atomic spectra actually originates due to slight difference in energy of the electron. Okay. Sommerfeld suggested that the electronic orbit may be in different planes as shown here. Okay. Now we will go through merits of Sommerfeld's modification. And what are the important merits? The number one, due to the introduction of azimuthal quantum number, here k, small k, and afterwards it was changed to small l. Okay, here it is written. Can you see the bottom line here? Or here the Sommerfeld azimuthal quantum number k has been replaced by the alphabet L such that L equals to k minus 1. Okay. So due to introduction of azimuthal quantum number, the concept of multiple elliptical orbits corresponding to the same principal quantum number came into being, as we have discussed for the principal quantum number 4. There can be 4 azimuthal quantum number representing 4 different end orbits as shown in this figure. Okay. Number 2, due to multiple values of azimuthal quantum number for the same value of principal quantum number, transition of an electron can occur from one quantum level to another, which may result in multiple lines in the spectrum. Got it? Thus, the fine structure of the spectrum can be explained by the Sommerfeld's theory. The subcells belonging to the same principal energy levels have different eccentricity. And eccentricity, and the eccentricity term has been shown here by the mathematical term here. That is the eccentricity term. Okay. And depending on that value, the shape of the ellipse will vary. The subcells belonging to the same principal energy levels have different eccentricity. More is the eccentricity of a subcell, more is the opportunity of the electrons. Look at here, residing in that subcells to be closer to the nucleus. Thus the subcell will possess more penetration power, and the corresponding electrons belonging to the subcell will have more power to shield the nuclear charge. Very important point. And there are some demerits of Sommerfeld's modification also. Okay, Sommerfeld modification also failed to explain the spectra of multi-electron atom. Okay. Like Bohr's atomic model, the atomic structure proposed by Sommerfeld is also two-dimensional in nature. So this model also fails to explain the three-dimensional model of atomic structure. Now we will start new unit here towards the development of quantum mechanical model of an atom. The limitations of Bohr's model of atom led to the development of new improved model for atoms. Two significant concepts and that led to the formulation of such model were the dual nature of matter particles and Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So what do you mean by dual nature of matter particle? And then both the scientists Niels Bohr and Sommerfeld regarded electron as a negatively charged particle. However, this particle nature of electron failed to explain some of its characteristics. Okay. In 1905, Einstein suggested the light has a dual nature, that is both wave nature as well as particle nature. Okay, and for that he got Nobel Prize. In 1924, the French physicist Louis de Broglie concluded that Just like radiations, moving electrons or other such microscopic particles are associated with wave nature. Okay, wave nature. Wave nature of electrons has been shown here. Okay, wave nature of electrons. That is, they exhibit wave nature as well as particle nature. The wave associated with the particle is called matter wave or de Broglie wave. The wavelength associated with the moving particle is given by the de Broglie equation, and that is lambda equals to h by mv. And mv, that means momentum, and it is written by p. And that equation can be derived by combining two equations as we did earlier. That is the according to Planck's quantum theory, E equals to h nu, where nu equals to c by lambda, and according to Einstein equation equals to mc square. And then combining these two equations, and we can write that one, and from here we are having lambda equals to h by mc. Mc means lambda equals to, that is the wavelength, and h is the Planck's constant, m is the mass of the particle, and c is the speed of that particle, L. Okay, and having wave characteristics. So that's why we can write that equation lambda equals to h by mv, and this is de Broglie equation. This is de Broglie equation. The wave associated with fast moving matter particles is called matter wave or de Broglie wave. This type of wave is distinctively different from the electromagnetic waves. Okay, let's see how it is. De Broglie equation is not applicable to moving particles having large mass, because in such cases the wavelength of the wave associated with the moving particle is negligibly small. Okay, for example, the wavelength associated with the cricket ball of the mass 200 gram moving with a velocity 1 meter per second is that much. Okay, such a small value of lambda cannot be measured. So, application of wave nature of electron. The concept of wave nature of electron is used in the electron microscope to get the image of the particle as tiny as 10 angstrom, and for studying surface structure of solid substance. Now let's have a difference between electromagnetic wave and matter wave. Electromagnetic wave and the matter wave. Okay. Now we will derive angular momentum of Bohr electron from the de Broglie equation. If we take the electron as a wave, okay, that means whenever electrons are revolving around the nucleus, and the total the path that is the 2 pi r should be associated with n number of complete wave, and that's why we can write 2 pi r equals to n lambda, and from here we are getting lambda equals to 2 pi r by n. Okay, and here r is the radius of the orbit and n is an integer. From de Broglie equation, lambda equals to h by mv, and putting that one, okay, and we are getting that equation 2 pi r n equals to h by mv, and that is mv r equals to nh by 2 pi, and that has been in there in the Bohr's theory in the very first statement. Can you remember? The angular momentum of all the electrons revolving around the nucleus is nh by 2 pi. Okay, and that is predicted by the Bohr as it came here. So just write down the important point here. Okay, now let's move to another important question here given, this one. Okay, the kinetic energy of a moving particle and the de Broglie wave, okay, wavelength associated with it. So kinetic energy of a moving particle is half mv square. From here mv equals to root over 2 me, and from de Broglie equation we are having lambda equals to h by mv, that is mv equals to h by lambda. Combining these two equations we can have that statement, that is lambda equals to h by root 2 me. Okay, now let's go through some simple numericals as given here from the de Broglie equation, and say the mass of the particle is given, h is given, okay, wavelength is given, then you can write the value of v. Okay, another one, calculate the ratio of velocities of a moving electron to that of a proton associated with the same de Broglie wavelength. Okay, simple numericals are there. Okay, one more, look at here, calculate the momentum of a particle which has a de Broglie wavelength, that one. So just you have to do one division here. Okay. And here one more, calculate the de Broglie wavelength of a proton which is moving with a kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is given. Number 6 here, calculate the de Broglie wavelength of an electron moving with a speed that is 1% of the speed of light. Large number of similar kinds of numericals can be there, so you have to practice at home by your own hand and copy. Okay. Now moving to our next article, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Werner Heisenberg introduced his uncertainty principle in 1927, which is a direct consequence of dual nature of electron. So dual nature of electron we have just studied. According to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, it is impossible to measure simultaneously both the position and the momentum of a subatomic particle like electron accurately at any particular moment. Okay. And in the explanation, what is written here, let's see. If at a particular moment the uncertainty in the position of position and in momentum be delta x and delta p respectively, then it can be shown that the product of these two uncertainties must be at least equal to or greater than h by 4y. And that is the mathematical expression of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Out of position and momentum of an electron in an atom, if one attempts to accurately measure any one of these quantities, then the other quantity becomes less accurate. Okay, that means if one is certain, then another should be uncertain. This uncertainty principle does not arise due to any limitation of the instrument used to measure the momentum or velocity of any small particles. Uncertainties in simultaneous measurement of position and momentum of small particles are basically due to their dual nature, that is the particle nature and the wave nature. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle is not applicable for macroscopic object, and why it is written. Okay, just to go through. Electrons cannot reside in the nucleus, and why, considering from the Heisenberg's theory, and here it has been explained, and let's go through once and you can understand.